INT have already shown that they can beat any team when INT is having a good day. Bull Explode, he was actually my vote for the entire season MVP because of how crucial he was to his team's ability to actually play throughout the entire season.
Rel ultimate and engage and a big pickup, big victory.
Oh my god.
INT
is still autoing on the backside. Everyone is dying. The dragon is going to be a second member as everyone is going to be falling from a really good team.
I think Rex, their roster is like really good, like in terms of game sense and macro plays.
When they just are able to pop off with any individual member and allow that person to actually carry the game, they're pretty much always able to beat each team because of how much we all focus on the bigger part of the game. And they're able to really boil it down to one place. And if they can do that, it's something where we're really going to have to give them a lot of respect.
Rex's strongest member is Joshi. From what I've seen in FOF, he's the most consistent player. Any consistent player is like always scary because they usually can play whatever they want. Joshi and Broccoli are like, I think, the best top laners in the league because of the consistency they have.
The other person that I'm really kind of afraid of is X Delta. If he's going to be playing, it's going to be difficult to, one, get a read on what he's going to be doing for the team, but I'm also told he's one of the major voices.
Last time we played against Rex, we put in 2 subs, and we still beat them. This time we're putting in 2 subs, and we're going to beat them again.
Look, just got to say, INT, it's in the name. You guys are going to end. Rex Regalis, king. We are a kingship, man. There's no way we're going down here in the semifinal.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Friend or Foe. Today we have the semifinal matchup between Rex Regalis and In the Trees. And real quickly, before we get into anything else, I want to thank Kroshi for that beautiful setup and graphics and all the stuff that he did to put together. Mm-hmm. That was immaculate. Very well done. I'm joined here with Anti. How you doing today, man?
Hello. I'm doing quite well for myself. Originally, I thought this was going to be an easy 3-0 for Rex Regalis because I knew INT was just running 2 subs. So, it's always rough to see, main roster fighting against sub roster. But then I heard that Rex Regalis is also running subs, so we got a very interesting series on our hands. And the immediate set ban coming out from Rex Regalis.
Yeah, it's always unfortunate when we see series where the players who have participated the majority of the split aren't here. It's definitely a big loss. It should affect both teams. I want to say to 50-50 degrees, so this series is something I still expect to be quite close.
Absolutely.
But the top lane pinch bans are something to be expected. Broccoli, Joshi are the perennial members of both their teams, and I think the topside focus is something we've seen a lot of teams lean into a little bit more. So it's going to be interesting to see if that counter pick is going to be utilized in that area to try to get Broccoli an advantage.
Mm-hmm. And I'm fairly certain that Fish is going to be playing that top lane. Last time, every time we have seen Fish, it has been in that top lane. But this time, Fish's set is banned out, so we might end up seeing Fish Smagesh regulated to that bot lane. But either way, Broccoli played a strong bot lane. Yuumi and Gnar being taken off the board, 2 very strong picks in the meta, and very good Rex Regalis picks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to give credit to Zenzen, who has been kind of the sleeper over here. Zenzen and the Bald are going to be a big matchup for today. So the fact that neither of these mid laners have received any significant pinches in their champion pool is going to be quite big. And Rex Regalis is going to instantly take the best AD carry available, which is going to be that Misfortune. A strong first pick. I'm going to interested to see what they're going to pair it with, but I do like the first early selection.
Here. Honestly, maybe the only blind pickable AD carry right now. She's ridiculously strong. And Leona being on the board means that INT have to respect that as well. So this already means that Rex had the ability to go for a really strong Wombo comp. And it looks like they're taking Lucian Nami in response.
Yeah, that is going to be a very aggressive bot lane. That's going to be the selection. I do expect the Nami to be the pair of Lucian is the most common option we do see. And this is still a lane that can struggle quite a bit against Misfortune. Misfortune does have the opportunity to go Leona, which is a heavily aggressive support. Obviously, Nami can't outplay it. It's going to be really about playing your ranges, and I think that is something that if Fistress Magish does take it in the bot lane, is something that they can be very confident in. Rex Regalis looking to most likely draft up their jungle option and most likely a flex pick in one of their solos. So Interested to see where they're going to choose to go to try to give them their draft some more versatility.
Yeah, and we're going to be seeing the Shen, a very good blind pick once again. But it's also a question of, what else is it that you're going to put on the table? You have Utility Monster in the jungle, very strong jungler we've seen playing in the Lunar League, and playing for Rex Regalis here, not always going to be... Not a player you really see with them that often, but a very strong player nonetheless. And Janna going to be picked up.
Oh my god. I really don't like Janna. I think she's just worse than Lulu in almost every way. I mean, obviously there is the ultimate that is good for disengage, but it does require the enemy team to continue to draft in hard engage that will allow that disengage to be useful. And Joshi taking up the Shen is interesting. I would think they would have held this Shen as a flex pick, because I do see that's something Alcbatter could have taken in the support role, but already locking it, they're going to be playing away from Joshi and be looking to maybe get Mr. Chunks and Alcbatter some support. I expect Zenzen to pick up a big carry, so that could be a decent option, as we see the Urgot's going to be drafted up for Barkley, one of his special picks that comes out quite often whenever he's looking for a good counter lane.
And one of the things that we do see about the Janna here is that while Lulu is a very strong support, the Janna is got a lot of synergy with the Misfortune, increasing her AD, with the shield. And one of the things that we've seen from In the Trees a lot is a Zac pick, which honestly is something that we see a lot from Bow Explode. But if they have something that dives onto the backline like that, Janna's Monsoon is going to be very instrumental in keeping that away. But they're going to be taking away more control mages that can keep firing from long distance away from them. So the Janna pick is going to be relatively neutralized here.
Absolutely. The Cassidon being taken away, the Vel'Koz being taken away from the side of Infantry. So Infantry's focusing more on those longer range AP champions, and the Assassin of Cassidon being taken away from the side of Rex Regalis, really trying to pinch these mid laners at this point. Now, there isn't enough bans left over to really prevent anything significant, which is why that Zac is going to come out. Utility Monster is one of the more versatile junglers we have in the league, so he plays basically everything. He still even whips out things like the Morgana and other options, so that is something to be concerned about, but getting away some of that hard engage is going to make it difficult, because Rex Regalis is going to need that in order to balance out their composition.
And while Utility Monster is definitely a good Zac player, I didn't expect In the Trees to be banning out Zac here, because the Janna was picked specifically to counter the Zac. So, you already know that the Rex is looking at the Zac. So I think that you just leave it on the table, but removing it completely is a very interesting play here. And they're taking away another one of Evolved New's signature picks, the Victor, which is likely going to relegate him to a Azir duty here. But let's see what they leave up last. I believe they should pick jungle here.
Yeah, Azir is a big pick for both these teams. I know Zenzen is also a Azir proficionado, someone who is going to take it up. It is going to be Evolved taking the Syndra, so that long distance Sun and AP burst mage. Syndra has been making a bit of a resurgence. We've been seeing her more often in some of the higher levels of play, so I do like the selection, but there isn't very much hard engage for the side of In the Tree, so hopefully their last pick is going to balance out their composition, because their range is extremely low, and they are going to be vulnerable to a kite out composition, which is something that Janna and Misfortune are very proficient at.
Yeah, well, the Syndra's a good pick, don't get me wrong, for this composition. It just feels odd to me that they're saving jungle for last. Orianna are going to be picked up, so they need a hard engage on this jungle pick here. Hopefully something with a gap closer.
Yep, absolutely. Orianna taking up one of the most common mid lane matchups we used to see all the time. Standard AP mages. Syndra scales better early. Orianna will take the advantage back later, late game. Both are solid laners. So this last pick is going to tell us a lot about where Rex Regalis, his composition is going to be leaning towards. They're taking a lot of time on this one, so I do expect it to be some more hard engagement. It is going to be the Jarvan, so that is the Shen delivery system. And these are a lot of champions that are extremely vulnerable, with Lucian being the only one who can easily get out of that Jarvan ultimate.
And only one of these champions have the ability to actually dash out, being that Lucian. There's zero chance for it to be the Teemo here, though the Teemo buffs, honestly, were kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, Teemo's a good champion now. Like, if people haven't seen Teemo recently or seen some of the changes he's received, he's definitely a strong champion. That is going to be the Kiana. It's something I do like. It is going to be most likely leading into that jungle role. it's the build is going to be really important for what Delta does choose to go for. If she's going to go that heavily lethality burst, or is it going to be the Gore Drinker kind of sustain route? But this is really strong, especially into Jarvan with that ultimate providing extra terrain for her ultimate.
And while I do like the Kiana pick here, you know, she has been nerfed, Conqueror has been nerfed, and I feel like lethality is really the way to go here. Like, I honestly don't see a world where you can go Gore Drinker Conqueror, though it'll be really interesting to see how this ends up panning out on the Rift.
Well, there's going to be a bunch of options. This is the first matchup between Rex Vergallison and the Trees, the beginning of the day, and we are in store for a fantastic set. And man, I cannot wait to see how many games we are going to get between both of I would say, the most talented teams we have in our league.
And really interestingly here, we have no teleport on the Orianna in the mid lane, instead opting to take that barrier. So I'm guessing that Zen's afraid of a mid lane focus gank sort of game, but I don't know. I feel like TP is just so important for the team here. And Joshi also not running the TP on the Shen.
Yeah, absolutely. You lose a lot for missing out on the wave management that teleport offers. The opportunity to get freeze on is something that can be extremely punishing, especially for a Syndra and an Urgot. Now, Delta is going to get the ward taken down. That ward is going to be killed. So good on the side of Orianna to pick that ward kill up. That will mean she hits level 2 off the first wave. Good on that. But yeah, this is going to be quite difficult for these lanes to navigate without having that teleport. They're going to need to make these offensive summoners useful, especially on the side of Joshi, if he's not going to get just out pressured by Fish-Fish Magish.
And as we see, you know, that is Fish-Fish Magish playing that Urgot on the top side, but the heal is going to be on the Janna. I'm guessing that's because she took Revitalize in secondary tree, but this is going to be a very interesting game, and really snowball the rest of the game.
Yeah, looks like you cut off for a little bit. So, if you want to repeat your point real quick, so the audience did hear. I'm not sure if it went through, but it did cut off on my end.
Well, basically, it's just I think that whoever does get ahead will absolutely snowball this game. It's very hard to make a comeback with outside of, you know, big wombo combo, right? Like, it just feels like this is one of those games where the team that has the lead will absolutely just choke out the other.
Yeah, absolutely. Bot lane's going to be this major focal point. You see they're trading very heavily early. Now, the level 2 spike is going to be quite dangerous, and we are looking to make sure who is going to get it first. The Lucian and Nami will probably grab it around the same time, and we'll see they are going to look to trade, as the walk-in for Mr. Chunks is not going to provide much, and these lanes are going to balance out with another good bounce from the side of Mr. Chunks.
And that's that Electrocute Nami that we've been hearing a lot about. You know, honestly, Electrocute versus Aerie, both very good options here. One of the things about taking Electrocute is you're probably not going to have that mana flow ban, which means that getting this poke off is actually very, very important to this lane.
Absolutely. Nami's mana costs are quite low, so she isn't as important on her as it is on some of the other champions. Plus, the Electrocute does proc on the Tie-Caller's Blessing if you do manage to get all 3 autos off, which synergizes quite well with the passive from the Lucian. So that is where the main strength for this lane. Interesting that they are getting shoved in early, not willing to play super aggressively, as Utility Monster is doing a dual camp, and Mr. Fish is going to find him. Really close on that one.
Yeah, really close to getting that steal from Fish, and, you know, getting that early priority, honestly, such a good thing, and making good use of that.
Yep, and this is going to be a level advantage for Utility Monster. Smite is still available for Delta, as he is going to walk in, get the autos out. The Flag and Drag is going to be still available. An EQ Smite will allow the secure on the Scuttle Crab, as that is going to be the option. One more auto, and if Smite is going to be... And Delta is going to choose to save it, so this is going to be a double Scuttle. But now we see the gank is going to come out. Fish is going to force a flash away. And the aggressive gank for Utility Monster, really aggressive on the side of Fish, being in that position when he knew the Jarvan was on that side of the map.
Really odd from Fish, getting that early priority to get vision onto the enemy jungler and into the enemy jungle, so that way you have vision of the jungler, but then completely forgets that, hey, the jungler is topside, I can get ganked here.
Yeah, and Utility Monster continuously in this enemy jungle. He's looking to try to find an advantage. Now Kiana is going to be running over to this bot side as we see the trading is going to be coming out in this bot lane. Now all the mana is gone for Nami, so really good on Mr. Chunks and Alkbattery navigating the most difficult portion of this lane, the early levels where Lucian and Nami can look for a one-shot.
Oh.
That's going to be the Flag and Drag. Flash Force from Evolved Noob. So once again, Utility Monster finding continuous pressure onto these lanes.
And while Delta did end up getting that Scuttle Crab, Jarvan is 8 CS above her. That's 2 full camps and is looking to get this second crab. Not going to get double crab, but this Jarvan is so far ahead of this Kiana. Wow, what a ricochet.
Yeah, good bounce from the side of Mr. Chunks continuously enamored as Joshi is going to get the Q poked onto him quite a bit, but he is doing a good job maintaining this lane pressure. He's going to be able to get a nice recall off. As now these lanes are going to be looking to even out. Teleport is going to be available on the Syndrome when she does. You choose that as the damage is coming out, and it's going to be first blood from Mr. Chunk, forced to flash in. Exhaust is here, and Brock Lee is going to be forced to flash. So this bot lane outplaying and taking a duo kill, something that we were not expecting when we saw this track.
And, you know, that's a Nami Lucian that has to be getting ahead, but going to be taken down early in the 2v2 by the Misfortune and the Janna. And this is disastrous for INT here.
Yeah, absolutely. Big early advantage given over. Now, they had been struggling in lane for quite a bit of time, getting pushed in when they really had no business allowing the wave state to be in that position. It looks like the tie call of Busting was often going onto the Nami, not using it to pressure with Brock Lee, so a little bit of the synergy off there. So to be expected since we don't see these two play bot lane as often, and maybe a little bit out of sync, but this is odd for Evolved Noob. He's really playing into Zenzen's game by staying in lane so long and not utilizing the teleport advantage. Like you have to use your resource management to make sure that you don't fall behind the CS. And now he's super low and he could even be dived at this point.
And Zenzen gonna continually push us in that tier, meaning that you have a lot of mana sustain. But Zenzen getting that Fish going right in.
Gonna come in, taunts landing, really aggressive on the side of Fish, really close to the tower. The taunt walk in could easily have gotten him some tower shots. But now we see both junglers knowing where each other's are, so nothing is going to be coming of it yet. And you see Utility Monsters on an immaculate pace. Burns 2 flashes and is 20 CS up on the Kiana, so just better farming overall.
And this is that Conqueror Jarvan, so, you know, we're not going to get, like, any lethality, one-shot Jarvans. All you need to do is get in, deliver the ball, and I feel like, you know, Ori MF just runs over this entire team.
In this, just I don't know. It's just like it just looks like fear on the side of the bot lane from and the trees are just not playing as aggressively as they need to make this lane work. The tie call with Blessing needs to be going on to Lucian to allow these trades. So really allowing Alkbattery and Mr. Chunks to get a decent laning phase off. And if Misfortune is allowed to scale, like she will outscale Lucian quite hard and make it very difficult to team fight. As now they're going to get pressure off, knowing that the ultimate is still going to be there. Evolved Noob is going to get the punish. Now, I'm not sure if there's a bug or if Evolved Noob did use teleport, but he does have full mana, so he may have just walked back.
I'm pretty sure that Evolved Noob did end up walking back. You see that he's about 7 CS down, 8 CS down. So Zenzen, you know, just going to get that push in. Both of them in a really good position here. Utility Monster's looking for something.
Yeah, both jugglers on this side of the map. Utility Monster is going to be Brock Lee's going to get dashed in. The ultimate is going to pick it up. Now Flag and Drag is still available. Blue Smite is going to be in, and the autos are going to come out, and that's going to be the double kill for Utility Monster. Finding the kills, and just another error from this bot lane that's been struggling quite a bit.
And, you know, Broccoli and Jeff walked up, you know, they thought to themselves, hey, you know, our Kiana's around here, we should be fine, we should be safe, but Utility Monster just around the corner, level 6, just going to fully, like, take them out, and Dragon is on the board for...
Yeah, that's going to be the taunt. Joshi's going to get the Ignite down. That's a lot of damage. One flash auto, and Fish Miss McGish is going to be very close. That's going to be the ultimate coming, but that's going to be Joshi finding the solo kill. So these laners are just performing way too well at the moment. No real advantages coming in the solo lanes just yet until Joshi finds that solo kill. So he's really trying to pick up the slow early game that we've been seeing, at least from the mid lane role.
And one of the big things that we see here is that INT as a composition need to be the composition that gets ahead earlier. But
here's going to be the all-in. He's fighting in the minion wave, so he's going to take a bunch of damage. Passive autos are coming out. Fish Mistress is going to continue to get those autos out. Flash in is going to come in. Shield's going to come through. The autos are going to be there, and Fish Mistress is going to grab it, so the solo kill is going to be returned onto Joshi, and he does not have teleport, so a good wave reset is going to give a decent opportunity for the side of Fish Mistress to recoup some of the advantages he lost by giving up that early down.
Yeah, and that was looking so good for Joshi right there. You know, he was getting really low, but almost killed Fish McGish in response. You know, no ulti on that Urgot. But one of the big things here is that, you know, INT needs to be the one getting ahead early.
Utility Monster is going to be going in. Now the ultimate is going to be available for the Shen. Red Smite's going to be in. That's going to be the stun coming out from Delta. The root is in. Joshi's getting the audios out. Utility is going to get the poke, and that's going to be the first kill. And now Evolved Noob's in trouble, and he is going to be soon to follow, as that is a double kill we see picked up for Utility Monster.
And this Jarvan is doing absolutely like everything on this map. You know, that's 6 kills on the side of Rex, and 4 of them are on this Jarvan. This Jarvan is a huge amount of gold on them, and is making so much use of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what we're seeing here is just the lack of comfort from the side of Industries. This is a byproduct of subs. They are very disjointed in what they're trying to do on the map. And these lanes are just like, you can just tell they're just out of practice in these specific matchups. And it's been having them struggle across the board. All in. Akbatter is going to be forced to flash away. Good tidal wave that stops the ultimate. As now Fisher gets the good flip. Joshi's going to take a tower shot. And there's no real advantages that he's going to get from that, as the taunt out is going to be provided, but really close on the bot lane kill, almost dropping out battery.
Out battery was getting so low. You know, Monsoon is still on the board, but Brock Lee burning that culling means that Monsoon
and
wouldn't
another
be in
Q bounce.
Yeah, you know, Chunks is just absolutely keep living up to the namesake, continually chunking out this bot lane and burning through those mana and health bars.
And the struggle is going to continue. 20 CS down already in this bot lane. This is a lane that is really necessary to win now. They do have the opportunity to get a quick shove out, because this lane is something that can push quite quickly. But just given the lane state that Mr. Chunks and Alkbetter have found themselves in, they are not going to be under pressure anytime soon. And we haven't seen Delta find any avenues in to really be useful. So it is going to be waiting on that next Kiana ultimate to have a big impact to try to punish either this side lane or this mid lane, because the neutral farming is quite weird, especially since it seems like Evolved Noob still hasn't used his teleport, and the resource management game is something you can easily do when you don't have that opportunity. There's going to be the flash coming in. Evolved Noob's going to be forced to flash out, so aggressive on the side of Utility Monster, who's just going to get a free flash on the side of the Syndra.
And Evolved Noob no longer having flash means that Zenzen still can threaten all in, but you know, no shockwave means that all in is going to be much, much less threatening. But once again, Rex is the comp that doesn't need to get ahead early. INT is playing the composition that needs to be getting ahead early. But by taking Barrier, by taking Ignite...
Oh, here we go.
Rex
be in trouble. Otto's coming through. Stun's not going to be here just yet. That's going to be Delta getting the stun off, but forced to flash away. Bunch of damage coming in, and that is the ultimate that's going to land on Utility Monster, but no more damage is going to come through for execute. Now, Broccoli has dashed over the wall. Nami is going to be in trouble, and she is going to get out. Let's get her T shutdown picked up on Utility Monster. So huge gold in the hands of Broccoli, and the fight is continuing. Zenzen being forced out. Joshi zoned out also. Dragon spawns in a minute, so no other objectives will be taken up just yet, but good kill picked up by the side of Team of INT, getting something back for that fight.
That's a huge amount of gold being put onto the Syndra. One of the champions you absolutely do not want this gold to go over to if you're Rex. And, you know, while it was looking so good for them, like I said, you know, INT are the team that need to be getting ahead early. And Rex took, you know, Exhaust Heal, they took Ignite, they took Barrier, and they, even in just the Summoner spells alone, have played in a way to try to deny the early lead from INT. And they've done that successfully through this laning. But, you know, that shutdown going over could absolutely sway this. That's an entirely completed Luden's Echo on the Syndra now. And Drag's coming up in 3 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. Otto's still coming in. The resources are still available for the Syndra. Other than the flash, he still has that teleport to be able to use a play in one of these side lanes if necessary. But this Herald is just going to pop 2 plates. It's not going to be this tower or that much in general. But getting some gold over before the plates do expire was very smart on the side of Rex, since they had gotten that objective quite early on in the game.
Utility Monster is going to continue to scout this out. Good Herald going down mid. putting even more gold onto this Jarvan, who's got a fully completed Gore Drinker. And that is the Eclipse going to be coming up from Delta. And Rex had the inside track on this Dragon.
Yep, and teleports are going to be available quite soon, so they are going to need to try to utilize this. It's going to be important to see if the teleport cooldown was taken note of for the side of Fish Mistress. They should know he doesn't have it yet, but will have it soon if they continue to dance around this dragon. And both teams do seem hell-bent on contesting it, so that should be the next avenue of pressure, as that is going to be Rex starting it up.
And Rex going to get this Dragon stack and on board, that Jarvan just absolutely ruling this early game with an Iron Fist. And Joshi continuing to farm up, dropping down a bit in CS.
Wave in and damage traded, but overall, Evolved Noob does still have those pots, so really good on his part. He didn't die, and he does get the Shockwave out. It's going to lower his gank pressure and allow him to sustain back up through this lane. But he's going to need to be concerned because the Utility Monster is around. That is going to be the flag drag over. Nami taking a bunch of damage. Jessica's going to be forced to walk away. Stuns landing on Utility Monster. He's just consistently in the chain, and then nothing else is going to be further, as it's going to be the ultimate coming in, and that is a bunch of damage. Utility Monster's going to drop, and Kiana's going to grab it. So well done on the side of Delta for finding the avenue and punishing Utility Monster for his over-aggression. Is the second kill he's given over.
And Utility Monster getting a little too big for their britches there. It's looking like the investment banking strat, where you just kind of feed a bunch of kills over to one person and start harvesting that gold in the shutdowns. And it is working out for them, and it's... that's 2k gold. This is 2k gold lead for Rex. But with how skewed this game looked at the beginning, it looked like Rex were absolutely just gonna, choke him out. But now those shutdowns going over is so good for INT.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Kraken Slayer is completed on the side of Mr. Chunks. He's going to be the first AD carry to pick up a Mythic. It's going to be interesting to see what Broccoli does choose to go. He is going to need Kraken Slayer if he's going to have any hope of playing in the late game. He's going to need to be able to do that extra damage. But Gale Force is also an option. You do have Jeff who's going to provide the extra damage, so you are going to still have the opportunity to look for these engages. As continuously we see this MF and Jenna still being able to play safely and still continuously having the shove, as that's another good bounce on the side of Mr. Chunks onto Broccoli.
And Chunks, well, only having 1 kill on the board, 2 assists are nice, but that CS lead is large. You got 20 CS, and it is growing. Like, Chunks is no slouch right now.
Yeah, that is really good clip. 144 at 16 minutes. He is going to be on a decent pace, about 8.5 CS per minute. So he is going to be very close to that 10 mark if he does continue to pick up these waves. As Fishmiss is going to get the shove out into the mid lane. Teleport utilized, so interesting to see where he did choose to go with that. And he is not going to have that cooldown available for this next team fight if the Ocean Soul Point is going to be where they're going to choose to fight next.
Oh my god. These Qs are absolutely chunking through Broccoli's health bar.
Yeah, Misfortune Q can be quite hard to dodge. Sometimes it seems like the coding is at random. It is going to be a free Rift Herald picked up, so really good on the side of In the Trees for finding an objective. As Utility Monster's kind of meandering around the spot lane, it looks like he is going to be looking for a dive, but he is going to be spotted on these double pink wards that have been put up for In the Trees, so they do have a lot of vision. As dash in, Utility Monster by himself. That is Jeff going to be taking a bunch of damage. Teleport coming through. Jeff hasn't dropped yet. A bunch of damage coming out in return. Broccoli has going to manage to find it. Evolved Noob is going to find the stun. Ultimate coming out from Mr. Chunks. Nothing else going to be happening there. Joshi's going to be dashing in. That's going to be a bunch of damage. Jeff is the first one to drop, and the tower dive is going on 2v3. Broccoli taking a bunch of damage. He's going to be the second one, and that's going to be Evolved Noob finding his way into the Death Chamber. Monsoon is going to keep Mr. Chunks alive, and a clean dive for the side of Rex. Regardless.
And on the other side of the map, INT decide, hey, we got Dove in bot lane. That's unfortunate. We're just going to play the map. We're going to get these inner towers, getting a lot of gold and a lot of value out of this Rift Herald. Might even crack the inhib here.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to try to crack this third tower, but this is going to be a little bit of an overstay. You do have Joshi who's going to be here. Delta is going to take a bit of damage. Now, that is going to be the ultimate coming through. That's going to be Joshi getting executed. So Fish and Delta finding a kill in a 2v2. Well done on their part. And a bunch of damage onto this inhibitor tower that is going to be extremely close to dropping. Is it going to make it? And the cannon's not going to get that last auto attack. So really, really close. That auto is a cool breeze away from where that tower drops.
And, I have to commend INC's decision-making there, right? They saw that their bot lane was getting engaged on, and it was like, okay, well, we committed the Syndra TP already, and it didn't work out, so we're just going to put this Herald top, we're going to get as much damage as we can, and, they even pull out a kill as they walk away scot-free.
Yeah, this jungle and top lane are going to be the main vectors of gold for this side of In the Trees. Lucian did opt to go for this Gale Force. Trying to find these executes in the team fight is going to be imperative for just how well INT can take these fights. 28 seconds on Soul Point doesn't look like they're going to be wanting to give this over. And the setup is going to be in the advantage of Rex regardless. So this is going to be quite a difficult contest that we're about to see.
And Utility Monster threatening and engaged once again here.
Yep, half HP on the Jarvan though, so well done on that part. And this is going to be a close fight. Urgot is extremely strong. He's going to be walking up. He is going to find the flash, and that is not going to land on Utility Monster. Forced to walk away. Joshi's ultimate burned. So a cooldown just taken away. Fisherman gets trading his flash for the Shen ultimate, but this is going to be good if they do manage to get in here safely. But well done on the side of Rex Regalis. I'm not allowing them into the area, using the ball control. And now this is getting really low. This dragon's going to go over, and the fight is going to be here. Fishmish is going to get the autos onto Zenzen. He's caught out. The flip isn't going to land, but that's going to be the damage. And that's going to be a beautiful R.
Oh my god!
That's the dash in, and that's going to be Fishmish finding the first kill. Shutdown already collected up. Ak Battery is going to be on the run. 4 people under this tower, and 1 body dead already. So the team fight win is going to go into the hands of In the Trees as this Urgot continuously is finding this gold.
Beautiful supreme display of talent coming out from Delta there, locking down the Misfortune who had just started bullet time and making sure that Zenzen had no shot of getting out of there.
Yeah, very good spatial awareness, utilizing the vision of Fish McGish, knowing that they were standing up against that wall close enough to still receive the sun. And that is one of the big advantages for the Kiana ultimate. It does so much damage. It provides CC. It is one of the best utility ultimates in the game, plus being an assassination tool. So a lot of overloaded nature, as we see with some of the newer champions, but really well done. Good usage onto this Kiana. And frankly, if this is something that he can continuously do, Kiana is something that I'm sure Utility Monster is not as up to place playing. He doesn't have any on his match history recently, so this could be an interesting pick that could shape this series.
And one of the big things that we do see here, we see the staircase being picked up by Utility Monster. Very strong item still. I don't believe it was nerfed in the last patch, but one of the big things here is that Urgot Ultimate does not actually care about how much shielding you have. So, you have the Janna shielding, you have the Ori shielding, you have Jarvan's W, Shen ulti, Stairs Cage, whatever. It doesn't matter how much shields you have on you, as long as you drop underneath that health threshold. So if Urgot can land the ulti onto Utility Monster, all that tankiness is honestly going to be thrown away, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. If you do get shielded up and your ult and your health is below that threshold, the execute will still come through after the shields do fall off. So Urgot very good into the shields into that shape. Obviously, if you kill the Urgot, the execute won't come through. So there's always the hope on that one. As Alkbetter is going to face check, and she's face checking into a Kiana, and that's so much damage that she's going to die. So that is a free kill given up to the side of Delta. Well done on those mechanics on that fight.
Delta, we saw in the teaser, Joshi said that, he really respects Delta, and that's one of the reasons. Oh, bullet time.
Bullet time coming out. Delta is going to get out with the ultimate. Utility Monster's by himself taking a bunch of damage. Joshu's going to ultimate in, and that's going to be the shutdown onto Misfortune. Good team fight so far. That's Brock Lee trading his life. The tower is going to come in. Evolve Noob is not going to burn down from the Ignite, so a 1-for-1 trade, but a shutdown onto this Misfortune. So well done on the side of In the Trees, continuously to find positive gold trades. They're still 3,000 behind, but they've been finding some avenues back into it.
Really well done from In the Trees, looking for those picks and getting them and getting that gold back into their coffers. Interesting build coming out from Misfortune here. I'm not too sure if I necessarily agree with it. I don't know how to feel about Bloodthirster.
This is our new tech. We've been seeing a bunch of other AD carries, especially in the eastern regions. They've been pulling this out a little bit more. Now, it is something that it does lower your damage output. You do miss out on the armor penetration that you would get from Lord's Dominic, so you do less damage. But if your whole job is just to stay alive long enough to do a combo, the Bloodthirster shield obviously does give you a lot of value, more so than the actual life steal. The shield is very impactful. But if you're going to do that, generally you want shield bow, so it's interesting that he still chose to go the Kraken Slayer, kind of lowering the overall effectiveness in that area. But I mean, there's a lot of bursts, so I can see why he would choose to try to go that avenue in a game like this.
Well, I mean, it's a very interesting pick here, and I'm sure that it has some merit behind it. It's just my first.
Oh,
thought-
Delta's on the chase. He was close. It looked like he was hunting Zenzen. If that pink ward wasn't there, I'm sure he would have went for it. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
Fish is right on the other side. Yeah, but either way, my first thought is, hey, you got an Orianna, you got Jarvan. You're already looking for a wombo combo. Why not just go for the Lord Doms? Specifically, go for as much armor shred as you can. Just play all into the ultimate. Like, honestly, the press the attack and going for the non-lethality build alone is already kind of not what I would have anticipated here.
Yeah, absolutely. Lethality would have gotten a lot of value. It is quite difficult because the bullet time is always going to be a potential of getting disrupted with the ultimate from the Nami. So Tycaller is just going to be evolved new, teleporting in. Utility Monster is going to be in. They're just going to give over the Syndra's life. There's no way she's going to survive. As the fight is still going to be on that flash. Double onto it, and that's going to be the ultimate coming through. Fish is going to find himself in the death chambers as well. Aggressive and beautiful flash taunt on the side of Joshi. So quick, and there was just no reaction for the side of In the Trees.
Yeah, and taking a fight directly before Soul starts, and this is going to be Ocean Soul on the board for Rex Regalis here, basically putting a stopper on this game, and this is so huge for them, looking to pivot to the Baron.
Yeah, absolutely. This Baron is going to be the next fight opportunity. Now, Teleport is available on Evolve Noob, so he will be able to reach the objective, but I don't know, frankly. I mean, if you had to give over a Soul, Ocean Soul is one of the ones you're more okay with getting up over. It's one of the weaker ones. Obviously, the sustain isn't that useful when you do have extremely quick team fights, like the expectation for INT, if that is going to be what they're going for. But now this Baron is already half HP, getting chunked out. There's just no vision on it. The blue trinket's finally going to come in, but they're just going to take it. So a greedy Baron take completely goes inside of Rex because no one checked it.
Yeah, that's a 5k gold lead from Rex coming out at 25 minutes, and they still haven't backed. They're just going to clear out these waves and then look to reset. And, like you said, Ocean Soul, while it is a very strong soul in this particular game, INT have so much burst that you're not expecting fights to go on for that long. So Ocean Soul actually does get a minimal amount of value in comparison to, let's say, Infernal or Mountain Soul here. But one of the, like I was saying earlier, you have that wombo combo from Rex on the table, right? That shockwave into the bullet time, and it was doing so much damage, just chunking through that back line. And, this is what we're seeing on the crit build. And the crit build, by no means is a bad build, right? It's just, part of me wants to see just how much it would do on lethality.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, bullet time can critically strike. That was a change that Riot made a little bit ago, so it is something that the scaling, I believe, is overall better on the crit, but the efficiency is better onto the lethality. Obviously, you can get your items much quicker. Like, if this was lethality, it'd be 3 item misfortune instead of two and stopwatch. So there's that end on that. As now, this is going to be the setup. You see that Fisher's Bagish is going to be in trouble, but who is catching who? The dash out is going to be onto this Urgot. Delta is going to be here. Root up onto Alkbetter. He needs to be concerned. He can easily be one shot by this Kiana with a Serpent's Fang.
Utility Monster?
The Utility Monster just goes for the EQ. This man is playing with no fear.
Yeah, just gonna go way far ahead. Orianna, just right on the side, got the ball on the Jarvan, and they're pressuring this tower. Joshi is more than happy to just let the cannons hit that tower, and Volney can do very little about it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is not the ideal lane setup. Syndra is never really going to be able to pressure out this Shen here, so Joshi is going to continuously be able to get pressure. And you're not going to really be able to team fight without Syndra being able to be there for setup. But it looks like that is going to be the option. Good damage on the side of Delta, getting something onto Utility Monster, but this inhibitor is going to go away for free, and you're going to need to fight something. So what side are they going to choose to take, as this double cannon is just melting this tower?
And Broccoli's just gonna, sit there, dance a little bit on the Lucian, and Joshi going to go in.
Flip coming in, bunch of damage onto the Shen. This is very, very close. Didn't want to continuously fighting into the Baron minion wave. Too much damage, but this is no aggression, nothing really coming out. So just going to give up to inhibitors for free. And if you're going to bleed this much off of one Baron, then the game must surely be close, as this is a big advantage for Rex Regalis.
And they had all 3 waves set up, so this Baron, they had started with a 5k gold lead, and it's ballooning to 6-7k at this point. Like, this tower going down would be disastrous for INT.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're in the trees, this is where the decision needs to be made. They're going to be going into Joshi. Joshi's taking a bunch of damage. Delta is unable, but the chase is still available. Q's coming out. Otto's going to be there. Taunt's going to come in. Joshi's going to give up a shutdown, and Nami's going to pick it up. This is going to need to be where the fight is. If in the trees is going to look to contest anything, but that is one kill taken, and this the full disengage from the side of Rexa. Even with the shutdown coming through, the base is in shambles, and this is a big advantage for Rex Regardless, as they can just easily siege down this mid lane next time they choose to do so.
And one of the big things here is that, while Joshi did get shut down there, Joshi ends up picking the Anathema's chains up, which is going to be ridiculously hard for INT to deal with, because, you just plop that on Lucian, you plop that on Syndra, and then congratulations, you get CC'd once, you're CC'd the rest of the game, because you're just going to be looking at a great screen.
Yeah, absolutely. The tenacity being taken away for either of these champions is going to be very vital. I expect he might put it on the Urgot as well, because the CC chain on the Urgot from 100% to 0 is going to be very important for these team fights. As basically Fishmish is the only real threat at the moment. Syndra is on a clearance rack build. She has Lunens and Zonius. That's not enough to really burst out anyone. 3 items on the Orianna to almost 3 items onto the Misfortune. So these carries are just stronger on the side of Rex Regardless, and you're going to need to be concerned if you do attempt a team fight. It's going to need to be a very clean engage.
And, Misfortune's going to be building her way towards that Infinity Edge, which, when it comes to the way how...
It does seem like that was a cutoff on the side of Anti. I'm not 100% sure if he's being picked up at the moment, but we do see the siege is going to be breaking out from the side of Rex Regardless, continuously getting these pressure down, trying to open up this last tower. We do see Joshi's also on the top side looking for his avenue in, but Fishmish McGee sitting on the flank trying to find his avenue in. He does have flash available. That's going to be the stun landing. Bunch of damage that Delta has managed to put out. Alpha Batter is going to be the first one to die. That's the ultimate being picked up. This is a good team fight already for the side of INT, and so much damage is coming out onto this onto Joshi, who's going to be forced to go away, but that's going to be the re-engage. Utility Monster's going to find it. Evolve Noob doesn't have enough damage, and Brock Lee is too little too late, as that is a one team fight for the side of Rex Regardless. A fantastic job fighting back when it looked like they may be struggling.
Yeah, and it looked so good for INT, but, that Ocean Soul doing so much healing at that last fight. Utility Monster was getting bursted at the beginning, but walked out at basically full health.
Yeah, absolutely. The re-engage was just too strong, getting that value from the soul, and that's game one being taken by Rex Regardless. Well done across the board. Very, very strong showing, and showing a lot of cohesion with a substitute roster, and that's something that we do like to see in a best of 5 series, especially when Tilt is always going to be on the back of INT's trying to need to come back with something strong if they don't want to fall 2-0 down.
Yeah, and this is going to be, you see the total damage of champions. Orianna pumped out a lot of damage with that Ludens. You get that magic pen on board. And like I said, Wombo comp, you got the Jarvan running on in, being that ball delivery system. And, Ori, Misfortune, ridiculously strong combo. Do not let this happen. If I'm INT, I say you just take away either the Misfortune or the Orianna. One of those two. I think Misfortune, absolutely. You cannot let that slide.
Yeah, absolutely. And while there's always a power in simplicity, and that's exactly what exemplifies what Rex Regardless drafted here. But while that is the conclusion of game one, don't leave yet, because there's a game 2, 3, and hopefully 4, 5 coming right back after the break.
Would we have chosen INT? Probably not. It really depends, though, right? We really like playing against RLS. We actually scrimmed them more than a lot of other teams, and so we talk with them a lot more. So, we kind of think we're friends, but INT, they're probably the tougher opponent for both us and Terracotta Gaming. We really want to make sure that we can actually get to finals, and, I'm gonna say INT, with all the wild cards that they like to throw, it's very difficult for us to prep against them. And so if we're trying to just win, we probably would have chosen RLS too. Why do I think TG chose RLS? Well, it's because INT are a total wild card that I don't even think they do draft prep whatsoever. You never know what they're actually going to be playing on the day. And they threw us a really big curveball last time we actually played them, and they were able to win because of it. And that's the kind of thing where it's really hard to prep for them. And if you're trying to come up and play a very standard play style like both TG and us tend to do, you're going to want to play it against RLS because you know what RLS are doing, and both of us have shown that we can beat them.